What's up guys, it's Matterz and we're going to be talking about Black Ops 3 Zombies DLC 2 and potentially TAKEO dying on that map, which is probably going to be an island map as we've seen within the cipher of the Black Ops 3 Zombies map, Rise and Rock, and then with a bunch of other little Easter eggs and leaks and everything like that, revealing and hinting towards a new island map, obviously, for the next DLC map pack, which is DLC 2. Now, I like to credit Jake fully because I am going to use the quote that he used within his video to really further enhance the actual video and to really explain to you guys why TAKEO may actually die within this map. Obviously, I've talked about this before. I've made sort of videos where I was just like, you know what, based on the Rise and Rock cutscene and based on a ton of other stuff, TAKEO will die because Richtofen and Dempsey already have died. That's like a basic sort of fact. We're going to go a bit more in depth, obviously, with the quote and then a bunch of other stuff regarding TAKEO of why he may die within that map and where we may go for that map and a ton of insane stuff like that. So definitely, if you can, leave a like. Let's aim for around 80, 75 likes or 70 likes, whatever you guys can do. That'll be greatly appreciated because this is a pretty cool video for the upcoming DLC map, DLC 2. And yeah, let's get started. Now, we're going to start off by talking about TAKEO's quotes within Rise and Rock that reveals something really interesting about him that I feel like Dempsey doesn't have the same feelings for, and that's regarding Richtofen, because TAKEO states, and this, he doesn't necessarily state this, but this is his sort of generalized idea. He basically says, okay, the test subjects must be recovered, the damage caused by their past actions must not be repeated and must not repeat themselves. Whatever he says, you'll hear the quote in a second. I'll play it for you guys. But basically, the fact is, he's saying that and he's agreeing with Richtofen. Now, if you guys don't know, back from the Rise and Rock Easter egg ending cutscene, Dempsey does not agree. He's actually reluctant to kill himself. He does not want to kill himself, but he had to because Richtofen forced him to. But Dempsey says, Richtofen, I thought you were doing good. I thought we were just supposed to be in and out of here. You're actually evil. He legit says that, and he says, oh, you're a lot evil than I expected, and you're just doing this for yourself. And Dempsey doesn't agree with Richtofen, and it seems here, and you're going to hear it in the quote directly from TAKEO from Rise and Rock, he basically agrees with Richtofen. He says these test subjects must be recovered and they must be ended because they don't want, I guess Richtofen and TAKEO, or Richtofen manipulated TAKEO into believing that, we don't want these characters to repeat what they did in their past lives. Now, that's actually really interesting, a really key point there. So I'm going to play the quote for you guys. We're going to go over some history for TAKEO and again mention the island map revolving around everything for DLC 2. So here's the quote, and then let's get, we'll move on with the video.
The test subjects must be recovered. The damage caused by their past actions must not be allowed to repeat themselves.
So again, basically what he was saying was he was agreeing with Richtofen directly because Richtofen wants to gather all the souls of the past characters into the summoning key. Dempsey did not. Dempsey was, like I said, reluctant to actually kill himself, but he ended up doing so because Richtofen forced him to. And then TAKEO, from the quote that you just heard, he is agreeing. He says, okay, the test subjects must be recovered and they must not repeat themselves. The actions must not continue, and that's why they must die. Again, we don't know why this is happening. TAKEO may have been manipulated by Richtofen, and this may play something pretty interesting when they actually go to the island map within DLC 2. Now, a couple things regarding the island map. Before we do that, before we touch upon that, here's actually some information regarding TAKEO in general, and basically some stuff of what he has been like for a while and his sort of I guess ideals and his biography. This again plays a huge role into actually where we go, and obviously I'm hinting at Japan, and then obviously an island map within Japan, like a Japanese island. If you guys don't know, Japan, an archipelago, a ton of islands surrounding that map, or surrounding that like real world country, so it makes sense for that to happen, but we'll go into that in a second. Let's just go over TAKEO's little history here. Enter TAKEO, for whom life has no meaning if not to perfect your discipline and to reveal true character and honor. Perhaps he ponders this and other philosophical questions as his katana slices through the flesh and sinew of his enemy. Our hero was born into wealth. His family dynasty dates back several centuries, and throughout that time they have been highly decorated samurai and bushido. While Takeo is no exception to this celebrated bloodline, even when the family first saw the young, life-filled 5-year-old Takeo playing in the street with his katana and slicing the tails off terrified kittens, it was obvious he was destined to bring honor to the Masaki name. Reserved and reflective, the war is a perfect opportunity for Takeo to explore his bloodlust and study the nature of those less honorable than himself. So if you fall victim to his swift action and might know that you have helped a man better than you reach enlightenment. This is Takeo's bio, actually from Mach Pack 2 Call of Duty World at War. Now that's significant because that's actually where Takeo was tested on, as he was an original test subject back in World at War, and that is none other than Shinonuma within Japan. Now again, Shinonuma, I'm not really going to talk that much about that, but it's just a good little hint because going back to Japan on a sort of Japanese island, obviously the island map, if you guys didn't know, I'll leave a link in the description to a island video I did. It's basically a cipher on Drazendrak that says, oh, we now have to go back to the island facility for initial testing, and then obviously Takeo, within his quotes, he also talks about going back to the, or not necessarily the island per se, but he does talk about, you know, recovering these test subjects and continuing on with Richtofen's plan past Drazendrak, so not just Drazendrak, but obviously in the future as well. So Takeo may actually want to go back to his emperor, go back to his nation, and you know, you've seen quotes like that as well, but even within the Giant, he talks about his emperor. He's always talking about his emperor, and especially as the rounds progress within the Giant, it's known, and you can type this up, it's on COD Wiki, it's on the Giant, you know, the characters, they have alternating like sort of quotes as the rounds progress within the Giant, and then, you know, Takeo, one of his sort of qualities, like Nikolai, he becomes more like his old self because he starts to talk about his dead wives and vodka. Takeo, when he does as the rounds progress, he actually continues to talk more and more about his emperor and, like, so, you know, I guess doing good for his emperor and bowing down to him and just honoring him and stuff. I think him going back and him sort of ending his past life in his home country, in his home nation, going back to where he was tested on, all of that crazy stuff, or at least where his old character was tested on, would sort of make sense for the storyline. It would be a great place as well. It agrees with the fact that the island map was revealed within the Drazendrak cipher, the island testing facility. Like I said, Japan, multiple islands. The whole nation of Japan is an island anyway, but I think if you're thinking about smaller islands, Japan also has smaller islands to its name, and we can very well be on those for DLC 1. Now again, I'm not going to go too much in depth of what we actually may do there, but just, you know, this is just the beginning stages of DLC 2 and what we might see there, and the whole Takeo situation. It could be DLC 3, you never know, but definitely one of these DLC maps, probably DLC 2, we will see Takeo probably go back to his mainland, and, you know, I guess he'll agree 100% with killing his former self. Unlike Dempsey, he didn't want to. You can see it's so apparent within the Drazendrak cutscene, the ending Easter egg cutscene. Dempsey does not want to kill himself at all, and he disagrees with the Richtofen strongly. Takeo, on the other hand, does. Now, Nikolai, we really don't know where he stands. Obviously, he had his own trailer. Maybe we can go back to that trailer and see what his DLC map will actually be like, because now that we know each of these characters will have sort of their own DLC map where something will occur, we have to see what Nikolai's is as well, so maybe we'll talk about that. But Takeo, definitely a really interesting thing here. It agrees with a lot of different stuff, and I think it'll be pretty cool to actually see what occurs for DLC 2 with Takeo. Now, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. Definitely comment below Takeo. Okay, it's pretty simple. Takeo, T-A-K-E-O. T-A-K-E-O, Takeo. If you are watching at the end of this video, just so I can see the people who watched all the way through. Now, don't worry, if I don't respond, that just means I'm busy. I read every single comment, so if you reply Takeo, I will definitely see it, and I'll try to respond to everyone as well, because I know a lot of you guys usually do it, and that's really just greatly appreciated, so thank you. So if you can do that, that'll be cool, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.